Good evening, everybody. We're here again. It's Tuesday, 10:05 p.m. We are starting a bit late with episode 12 of The Howling Fury. Today, we're gonna talk about a few things. Most importantly, the new battleground, the new hero, all that stuff we're gonna cover. Then we're gonna give you the impressions of playing Johanna for the whole week. We did put in quite a few hours in her. And finally, we're gonna talk about what Heroes of the Storm is doing for the community tournament and what people are saying on Reddit. So this is episode 12 of The Howling Fury, and we're gonna start with the new content. So let's get right into this. The new battleground. What do you guys think? Where have we seen it? What's the deal? What's so special and important?
Yeah, so this is the battleground that they showed at BlizzCon, right? The Hell versus Heaven one that everyone was pretty damn excited for because it was the first IP actual map in the game. Like everything else was mainly just like flavorful, trying to build their own universe in Nexus. This is the first map that's one of the actual big projects, which is Diablo, of course. And the whole update that comes with it is Diablo focus as well.
It is. It has a new hero as well. I'm very excited about that because it's a new assassin, and that seems to be all I play. And we're gonna see the mighty, the scariest monster of Diablo 1. And it's not Diablo, it's the Butcher.
Yep.
So if anybody hasn't seen it yet, actually, I'm surprised and stoked. We should definitely send people out to see the video. It's luckily posted all over the place. Starting with the Twitter, we're gonna post links. I'm actually gonna find the link and post it in the chat soon. So you should definitely see what the Butcher is like. What was the format of that map that they played? Was it the media personas from Twitch playing it or something?
I think so.
I know Michelle Morrow was there.
Mm-hmm.
That's like exciting. So let's go over the map. One thing, it's very thematic, it's very Diablo-esque, that's cool. But what's different mechanically from the other 7 maps that we currently have?
It looks like you have to fight a boss in the middle, but protect a boss at the same time.
Yeah, it's like a very tug-of-war style map. I haven't seen an actual boss on the map. It just seems like the main game mechanic is kind of a boss intertwined with it. Similar to how I believe it's the graveyard, the mines, the Dead Mines map, and there's another map. I think Dragonshire. Both don't have bosses on them. This map also doesn't seem to have a boss that you can kill and have push a lane, but instead it has a mechanic focus that summons a boss-esque creature that pushes the lanes.
And it's a very smart boss, right? It's not as just stupid as the other ones that go in one particular lane and you have to control it. This one actually chooses the lane that needs the most help.
Oh wow.
And then he also has different abilities like a shield and a ranged attack where he can destroy the towers and push effectively. So this AI of this boss is greater improved compared to, I don't know, pretty much anything else.
Yeah, so I believe the shield and the range attack are kind of intertwined, where while he has his shield up, he does a range attack, and once you bring that shield down, then he goes into melee range. So it brings this whole like poking aspect to the boss, where you kind of want to shoot at him from far away to try and get him down and get his shield off, so that way you can engage on him fully. And for the other team, you want to kind of protect him and take shots for him that are coming at him from range. So he stays within his ranged attack and keeps the shield up.
That's a very good point. And even the way how you get the boss to fight by your side is very interesting, and that has to do with that middle area, which has like 4 different circles around the area in a way, and the creatures start randomly in 2 of them that are top and bottom. So your boss can start either on the top or on the bottom, and then you have to adjust quickly to protect yours and kill the others. And then at half health, they move to the left and right positions again randomly. So this creates this tension for the team fight.
Yeah, you might just put yourself in a really bad position because the bosses switch places and...
Yeah. A really good one, if you're lucky.
Yeah, if you're lucky. It's going to be a little bit finicky with Gazlo to try and see if he can like pull off the setup beforehand or if he's just completely caught off guard.
Well, Gazelle looks like one of those heroes that will be ridiculously overpowered on this particular map. 50% of the time, at least.
Yeah.
If he's lucky.
I think they showcased him on the map actually when they did the game, and their big push towards him was the fact that he does set up like a small like fortified base around the angel or demon, whichever you have.
Whichever you get, yeah.
And he also gives you vision with these turrets, and that small area in the center seems to be very like closed off, many different corners where you can kind of hide from enemies and sneak up behind them. So Gazelle gives you that like vision, so you can hide, so they can't hide from you.
Yeah, so that looks like a ganking paradise, and probably heroes like Tyrande and Zeratul to a degree
Yeah,
would be very useful in shielding and
all
doing
those
kinds
heroes
of
that have
sneaky
good
stuff.
choke attacks and good ways of jumping in and out of fights seem to be very strong there.
Yeah, so that's just one aspect of the map, though.
Mhm.
The other thing we should talk about would be the new creeps or the new siege minions
Yeah.
and all that stuff. So
The
tell
new
us about that
mercenary
further.
camps, right?
Yeah, those.
So actually, me and Vox were watching the stream, and we were trying to figure out what was going on with the camps because they look different. And normally, when they do these new maps, they usually reskin the mercenaries to match. So I believe there's like desert themed golems and which is a scarab, and there's a spider one for the spider map. In this map, they actually have redone the mercenaries for the bruisers and the siege to be completely different mechanically as well. I think
So what's the difference in mechanics?
the siege minions seem to be target based. They don't do splash damage anymore. It's going to be a little bit weird because they won't be able to push lanes as fast with that. But they have increased damage towards the main structure.
Is that a
when they're
universal
attacking.
change, or is that just on that map?
So far, from what we've seen, it seems to be only that map. They actually look completely different. They're bow archers from Diablo.
So they're exploring additional options for different siege minions, which is nice because essentially every map can have its own unique type of minions that you have to know and learn to use. So that creates additional tactical depth that you cannot achieve with a generic minion in mapping.
Mhm.
In any case, that map seems very, very interesting, and I can't wait to see it in action. Did they give us a timeline for when that thing will be out?
I believe the whole update. So the whole update's called Eternal Conflict, and it's going into the PTR. I believe I was going to say beta, but the PTR on the 23rd.
So soon.
Yeah, and then I believe the launch is the week after, so on the 30th. So right before the end of the month.
Yeah, that's going to be exciting.
Yeah.
We're going to do some additional coverage to that. Currently, we can't afford ourselves to spend extra time on this topic, so we have to move along.
Mm-hmm.
So the next thing we should talk about is another thing that's going to be happening in June, I believe. And this is the Blizzard's Heroes of the Storm tournament that has a prize pool.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Right? So what's the tournament? What's the deal? I know Aaron told us about that even before I saw the announcement on Twitter.
Yep.
So do you care to pitch in?
Yeah, so it's a North American tournament, and from the looks of it, anyone can join. So I was kind of hinting at the fact that we should play. But yeah, so the grand prize is $15,000. I thought it was $5,000, but it looks like it's $15,000 for.
Is that the prize pool or the grand prize?
Oh,
I'm looking at it right now. It seems like it's the grand prize, but I'm gonna confirm that in a sec. So go on. When is it? Who's playing?
so anyone can play. There will probably be pro teams because I'm sure.
Yeah, they're not
They'll
going to
sign
turn
up.
down 15,000.
Yeah,
It's
that's
a
lot
lot of money.
Yes, they have. I think it's only North America that's playing though.
Yep.
And I think you get qualified to BlizzCon.
Oh, really?
Maybe not qualified, but I think you have like the top team. They're not gonna. It's probably one of their qualification things.
It is, and it starts on June 13th. And if you do really well, if you win it, you're one step closer to BlizzCon.
Yeah.
So that being said, I actually support the idea of us trying to play in it, and maybe we should pick a team with the viewers, and maybe we have it in us to win the BlizzCon. Let's
And polish up our best heroes and
Yeah, come up with one single strategy that's gonna totally destroy everything, and people will not
More
know what to do.
supports and Illidan.
Oh, the token strategy, yes, we already did that very effectively, at least twice. Once or twice.
I have no idea how many times. We give up on trying to win fair.
But let's not blow all the strategies on live streaming. Pro tip, I think all the pro teams know that we are on our way to becoming a pro team.
Yeah.
Yeah, so people that are watching us currently, drop us a line if you want to be on the team and stuff like that. Why not?
Carry us?
Yeah, carry us to victory, especially if you have a good MMR and very skilled. We'll put you on a show or something. How's that? Be on the best show on the internet. So June 13th, that's when it starts. This coming weekend, actually. Come to think of it, yeah, it's really close.
Yeah.
So we should figure it out, and maybe by the weekend we're gonna know what's gonna happen there. So that's the tournament. Now, also there were some interesting things on the Reddit that we even have the pictures to show you, and we're probably gonna be pasting them in a video or something like that.
Yeah, we'll throw them in the video underneath me.
I guess we can throw them in the chat too, just so.
Yeah, if we have a link. So there was this person. Unfortunately I don't know who they are, because this is really the creation not of the Reddit user, but of his significant other, his wife. So you know how you usually get these tips before the match begins, basically an overview of what the map is about, what you should do. So this lady, she went an extra mile and created a really nice infographics that gives you better information and more complete information, including the timers and including special different mercenary camp respawn timers, and it's basically really concise but really detailed at the same time. So currently I'm using this as my wallpaper. I cut her up in a little bit of a different layout to match the rectangular screen. But I think this is really cool, that the whole idea that people are doing this for the game they like. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, I really like this, and it's nice to see the community start to try and get more information out of it too. Having the timers on things, just giving you that slight advantage to set up for things and know that you're not gonna try and go for a full team fight because something's about to spawn in a minute, is actually crucial information for not throwing a game.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is very important information, really, for everybody.
Mm-hmm. If you're starting the game, I don't think it's as important. Like if you're a new player.
I think Blizzard does a good job with the loading screens to try and give you a general synopsis of what you should be doing on the maps. But I think this is a good option for pro or more advanced players, at least not pro players, to learn the actual timers on things and to kind of get a better understanding of the map itself.
Fair enough. And I know somebody from Blizzard is watching us right now. I know it for a fact, because anything we were saying on the show that was right, they were doing this. To a degree, but they were doing this. So guys, contact this lady, ask for permission to use this stuff, and put it on the loading screens for Hero League and Team League. Because those people, they would benefit from this, definitely. Mm-hmm. The quick match, you're doing a great job with what you have. 3 sentences, that's fine. But for people that are actually shooting for the ranking, I think this is very, very...
That's actually a really good point. I think seeing this in Hero League would be really interesting, because you've already passed the levels where you would normally get to see all of the maps. So having them have the more advanced versions in Hero League would be really nice.
Yeah, and it creates this additional learning experience. Mm-hmm. Right? So that's among other cool things that you can find on Reddit. I like the section with all the tips for different maps. Mm-hmm. And I know we briefly went over them in the pre-show. I guess my favorite one by far was the one, like the sneaky scouting technique that you can use to figure out if the opposing team is getting at the boss or something like that, without actually checking. And as you open the stats screen and see if they're all getting siege damage increases.
Oh, that's smart.
Yeah, I'm not really sure if I'm a fan of that in the actual mechanic of the game. I'd rather that they remove that and put it so whenever you see them again, that's when their stats update. But I guess it's up to them to see if the engine can actually do that and if they're able to actually...
Yeah, because looking at your stats screen is kind of weird.
Yeah.
Well, people, especially in pro level, do that a lot, because the stat screen, among other things, shows the cooldowns on ultimates and its heroic abilities, including your enemies.
Is that confirmed? Because I know it wasn't working at certain points, and at certain points it was working. and it's been a little bit finicky. But are you
Last
supposed to
time-
be able to look at your enemies?
I don't think you're supposed to, but last time that I was watching Navi people play, one of their teammates has the thing open like 24/7 basically. He like opens it, closes it, moves, and opens it again. This is like he's playing a totally completely different game. So on one hand, I'm kind of agreeing with HP here. Information like this probably should be removed because we are not playing heroes of the statistics table.
Yeah.
And actually, that's the skill that differentiates pro players from the noobs, that they keep that all in their head. They know when the ultimate was used, they know when the things spawn, they know how to run there, so this is the skill part. But, I don't know, maybe people are misusing it.
It's almost like Dota, right? Like when a boss dies, they have like a set a timer
Yeah.
outside of the game. Like when
Yeah.
Conquer dies.
Yeah, and that's fine. If you have to set a timer for one event, you can, but professionals, they will keep track of multiple things like this and that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Especially with the team captain, that's...
I think some of that stuff does fit into the game. Like, you shouldn't have to keep track of the times of certain mercenary camps and things like that. And HOTS actually does a good job with that by showing you on the actual camp, this will respawn in 10 seconds and stuff like that. And I don't think that necessarily needs to be the differentiating part of the players. But just knowing certain times and knowing when you need to be more aggressive and when not to is kind of what separates them. And I think that stuff should be left in, but looking at the stat screen the whole time to see when something's being attacked seems a little off.
The thing
Yeah, and
is,
go ahead.
like you know when they're fighting the boss. Like in most cases, it's pretty hard to like. There's so many times in the game where you're like, oh, where are they? Like they're doing something.
It's 19th minute, and they all disappeared
Yeah.
in the direction of the top, and that's where the boss is.
Like most of the time, you could probably figure it out.
Yeah, it's more like if you don't feel like going there and risking losing
Or
time.
getting baited.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So you should see maybe they are there, but not actually fighting him.
Right.
So that could be interesting.
That's
But
actually a really good point. A lot of people do a bait strategy, and this would be a really easy way to find out if they're not doing it.
yeah, we should know about bait strategies. It's one of the strategies that we as a team kind of perfected. In some cases, it saved us. So that was really interesting. But yeah, that's when it comes to little bit of pro tips about what other people are saying. So let's move on. We have about 10 minutes, and we should talk about one major thing. That's Johanna. We had a week, and I know HP is eager to talk about her because he got it.
Yeah, finally got her.
Go at it. Tell us about your experiences with Johanna.
Yeah, so I was talking about her last week, and I was saying how her damage wasn't that great. I take that back.
Yes.
Her damage is, I think, from what I've played with her so far, she does not seem as strong as Diablo to me, but that's because I'm very familiar with Diablo and I know how to play him. I only have her at level 5 right now, so I haven't played too many games with her, but she can stick on the target, and once you're at level 20, there's absolutely no point in targeting her, which is, like, my favorite part about her is how far in she can get into a fight, and how chaotic she can make it.
Especially with the trait, the unstoppable portion of it. You cannot...
Yeah, you don't have to deal with anything. It's honestly... It's one of the strange things that they seem to be bringing more and more into the game, and if we are going to be talking about Butcher after I believe he also has this, so that Blizzard's starting to see how good this trait can be, the unstoppable, and how it can effectively make a hero or break a hero.
Yeah, and there is some skill involved in timing that thing properly. That has a cooldown that if you use it at an opportune moment, it's great, but if you miss, and it runs out when you need it most, that could be devastating. Especially with Johanna, who's an initiator, right? Like, her job is getting in and basically moving everybody into the proper kill position.
Yeah, if you do too late or you do too early, you're going to be in a really bad position because you're in the middle of a team and they're coming towards you at that point.
From all sides.
Yeah.
So probably you're going to buy the farm easily. But yeah, so the damage thing, I noticed that as well. That was really good about Johanna. What do you think about her blind ability? Especially the range on that thing.
Yeah, honestly, it seemed really underutilized in the beginning. I saw people using it, but no one really seemed to take in the fact that it blinds the enemy, and I believe it's a trait that makes you do increase damage to the target after you blind them. That skill has so much utility in a team fight. If you get everyone hit by it, it effectively reduces the damage by a significant amount. It stops the melee from attacking, it stops the range from attacking, and you really only have spells at that point, and you're taking increased damage.
And it's a quick cooldown as well. And specifically, this should be used when, I don't know, say Muradin is in the stone form.
Yeah.
Or Illidan is turning into demon. You essentially negate good 2 seconds of their heroic ability. Because they're gonna miss.
And even Tassadar, if he throws his lightning on you and you blind him, he's gonna miss those static attacks that do an incredible amount of damage. So she has a lot of utility in terms of dealing with those high damage attack.
And also another thing that I noticed while playing Nova against Johanna, this skill, the blind, it does a little bit of damage. So it can pull you out of cloak just because you happen to be around, and it has a really long range and a really wide arc.
Quite a bit longer than even multi-shot. I think it just reaches it.
Yeah, multi-shot you need to upgrade it, I believe, to get close to that skill. So what about the heroic abilities? Which one do you like best?
That has been one thing that I've been kind of finicky on. I'm not sure exactly which one I like better. Falling Sword seems really strong in terms of initiation and damage at level 20. But the Blessed Shields seems more effective in utility. You can throw it right at their range and then run up to them with Condemn and kind of get in their face. So they both have their ups and downs. One seems more teamfight oriented, the other seems more ganking and focused on a single target.
So I'm guessing for the new map, the one that's gonna roll out, the internal conflict, which one would you pick? Would you play with Johanna?
Yeah, I'd play with Johanna. She seems really strong in almost any map, for that matter. And the Blessed Shield seems to be really good in the small areas where there's not much room to run, and you get stuck in a small lane almost, and it's easy to hit your shield. And the Falling Sword also seems to work really well there. You can just throw it into the middle of the team, get everyone pulled into a small tiny area, and then let your team do work.
Right, so that's Johanna for you. One thing that I want to also kind of briefly speak about, and probably both of you had this experience, what about playing against Johanna? Do you have any tips, like any ways of negating all these abilities? How would you deal with her?
I think one of the best ways to deal with her would be keeping ranged assassins farther away. She doesn't have that great of an initiation other than her Falling Sword. So if you can just keep your distance and keep yourself spread out, she's not going to be doing that much.
Yeah, spreading out is key. Like, if you're grouped up, you're just going to help her deal out more damage.
What about from support standpoint? If you are support and you're laning against Johanna, what's your thing? What do you do? Because she's much stronger than you are, but you have to still kind of hold your own in the lane against her.
I don't think she's a problem for supports. I noticed that while playing a support, though, trying to keep her alive, she seems to get very low in health.
Yeah, she is fairly squishy if you're the one being targeted. So as a team, if you can focus her down before the rest of her team can get to her, because she runs ahead usually in most fights, then you can pretty much kill her before the rest of her team can get to her. And the worst things are non-escape carries or non-escape damage dealers like Jaina and Kael'thas. They seem to have the hardest problems with her, so try and avoid picking them, and if you're picking them, try and avoid her.
So basically stay the hell away.
Yeah.
Because Johanna is strong and chasing him.
And she can't be slowed by Jaina, and she can't be thrown up by Kael'thas, so they kind of lose their upper hand in those senses.
Yeah, and if you don't have a help in the situation, you probably toast against her. Right, because she's gonna stick to you. That's one thing that's a given.
Yeah.
So I guess the only hint I can get in that situation, if she's running after you, run towards your team. Maybe you're gonna make it in time, and they're gonna help you out.
And if your team is around, try and kill her, because there's no point in running from her, because in most cases she can...
Yeah,
If you
before
can
she
turn
gets too tanky.
Yeah, because at 20, you're not killing her.
Yeah,
Can you
that's
see her effectively, like hexing and all that stuff?
Not when she's unstoppable. Yeah, so that's the big thing.
so her and Uther would be really strong.
I think it might be a little,
Redundant.
yeah, to have both her and Uther, unless your Uther was protecting somebody else.
But that's for the team fights, right? Like if you actually stun and pull, you can keep the team CC'd for upwards of, I don't know, like 7 seconds or something.
Oh yeah, if you're using Divine Storm, it might actually work very effectively in that case.
Yeah, it depends. And even Gazla with her, I've noticed is very strong.
I think we tried that and it failed miserably for us though.
Didn't we win that game? I thought we won that game.
Not from my recollection.
Well, we can try it again and report back the findings. Like that, really. But I think everybody can agree that this first week of Johanna, even though all the new players are trying her, I know this for a fact, they played with a bunch, she holds up really well as Heroes of the Storm here. She's not overpowered, she's kind of in a nice position when it comes to different other warriors. Do you think she will actually break the top 5 of most picked for the professional play?
It'll be hard to see. Depends how much they focus on stuns in the game. If stuns become a large part of the game, especially with Unstoppable becoming so much more prevalent, if stuns keep staying, then yes, she'll become more and more popular. But if they don't, I think ATC and I think Anubarak's also been really good recently. A lot of people have been picking him, so I think they'll be one of the top picks.
Okay, so that remains to be seen, and in the coming months, we'll see if we can keep an eye on a few professional tournaments, and basically bring back some information about that. And actually, yeah, let's see what happens this coming weekend. If we get to play in the tournament, or we get to make a team with the viewers. Basically, let's see if we fight against Johanna. Let's see if we pick Johanna. If you're interested in joining us for the tournament this coming weekend, drop us a line anywhere. You can do it on Twitter at Howling Fury TV. You can write to individual Twitters of us. You see them on the screen, or you can type it in the chat, or send us an email, or something like that. There are multiple ways of getting in touch with us. So that's for the tournament. Do we have anything to add for today's episode? Because we're kind of running out of time. We have 1 minute remaining.
Not really. I think we covered most of what we wanted to cover. I guess next week we can talk about Butcher in more detail.
Sure. How about we do a Butcher episode? The butchery. Alright. So we're gonna cut it here today. Thank you guys so much for watching. We had a lot of people coming back to watch us. Big ups to all of you who are coming back to see us every Tuesday. We are trying to do this show for you and for us. It's really fun, and has been fun for the past 3 months. And big ups for my co-hosts. Aaron Walks Equator. Follow him at Netherglaive. He does very interesting likes and favorites of very interesting videos and Twitch channels on his Twitter. So look that up. Also, Nathan HP Sequator, you can follow him at HPOG. I don't know what he really does with his Twitter. Maybe he just follows people. But if you follow him, there will be incentive for him to do something for you. Drop us a line for the coming episodes, so if you want to play, hang out, all that stuff. Follow me, Max Skegedrost at I'm Skeggy on Twitter. I also do some Twitter postings once in a while. Thank you so much, and this has been Howling Fury episode 12. We'll see you again next Tuesday. Have a good one.
Nuclear launch detected.